The galaxy had always looked down on humans. Every alien empire believed humans were slow, emotional, too soft, and always late to understand danger. But even with all these judgments, humans continued living their normal life on Earth, unaware of the storms secretly building in space. No one expected that the first great war of the galaxy would begin on a quiet morning when the sky was clear, the oceans calm, and most people on Earth were busy with their routines. The warning came too late. Satellites picked up strange readings above Earth's atmosphere, massive shadows moving in formation, too large to be ships humans had ever seen before. By the time the world governments confirmed what was happening, the alien fleet had already arrived. Enormous carriers blocked the sun, heavy cruisers hovered over cities, and the world froze in shock. At first, many humans thought it was contact from a peaceful species. They believed aliens came to talk, to share knowledge, maybe even to welcome humans into the galaxy. But this hope lasted only a few seconds. The alien message broadcasted over the entire planet was cold and full of arrogance. They declared humans weak, unprepared, and unfit to live freely in the galaxy. They said humanity would now be under alien control, and Earth would serve as a resource base. People panicked, armies scrambled, leaders shouted orders that no one could follow quickly enough. But the aliens did not attack immediately. Instead, they released a strange kind of creature onto Earth, tall, armored soldiers with glowing eyes and razor-sharp claws. These alien warriors marched through cities as if humans were already defeated. They laughed at human weapons and ignored human attempts to fight back. To them, humans were nothing more than insects. In one of the military bases hidden deep inside the mountains, a small group of soldiers prepared for a counterattack. They were elite, trained for impossible missions, but even they were unsure how to stop this enemy. Their weapons looked too small against alien armor. Their technology looked too old compared to the alien machines floating above. Among these soldiers was Commander Ellis, a strict but calm leader. He studied the aliens through binoculars, watching their movements. "They do not fear us," he said quietly. "They believe we will fall without a fight." His team stood beside him, scared, but ready. They trusted Ellis more than anything. But something unusual was happening inside that base, something the aliens didn't know. In a reinforced lab room behind thick steel doors, a small creature paced back and forth. It was a honey badger, but not a normal one. This honey badger had been part of a secret experiment. Scientists had studied its unbelievable toughness, its refusal to surrender, its ability to face danger far bigger than itself. They enhanced its strength, speed, and intelligence, making it something unique, something the world had never seen. The creature was named Rax. He was calm most of the time, but today his sharp eyes were fixed on the ground, listening to every vibration. He could hear the aliens outside, their heavy steps, their mocking laughter. Rax's instincts told him these invaders were a threat. His claws scratched the metal floor gently, testing his readiness. Dr. Lane, the scientist who raised Rax, looked nervous as she checked the monitors. "He can feel the danger," she whispered. "He knows something is coming." Commander Ellis entered the room. "Doctor, we do not have time. If Rax is capable, we need him now." Dr. Lane hesitated. "He is powerful, yes, but he thinks differently. He follows his own way. Once he is released, I cannot control him." Ellis nodded. "Good, because right now, control is not what we need. We need something the aliens cannot predict." Outside, the alien commander watched Earth with amusement. His soldiers pushed humans aside like they were nothing. They bragged that humans were soft creatures, always running from danger, always afraid. They announced to their troops that today would be the easiest victory in the history of the galaxy. But deep underground, Rax lifted his head. His ears twitched. His heartbeat rose. The scent of danger, fear, and battle filled the air. He could sense the invading force, and something primal woke inside him. This was his territory now. These aliens dared to step on Earth and mock his people. Dr. Lane unlocked the reinforced door slowly. "Rax," she said, her voice shaking, "you are free." The honey badger stepped forward, his armored suit adjusting around his small but powerful body. His sharp eyes glowed with determination. The soldiers watching him felt something unexpected, a strange mix of hope and fear. Rax was small, but he looked like something unstoppable. When the first alien patrol approached the base entrance, they did not expect resistance. They walked casually, laughing among themselves, pointing at human technology like it was a joke. They reached the door and prepared to break it open. Inside the dark hallway, Rax crouched low, muscles tight, claws ready. The moment the aliens forced the door open, a blur of motion exploded toward them. Rax moved faster than anything they had seen. He leaped, slashing through armor that was supposed to be unbreakable. His teeth tore through metal like it was soft cloth. The aliens screamed in confusion. 2 seconds later, the patrol was down. Rax stood on top of the fallen enemies, chest rising and falling steadily. He didn't roar. He didn't celebrate. He simply turned his head toward the open battlefield like he was challenging the entire galaxy. Commander Ellis saw the results on his monitor and felt a rush of energy. "If the aliens want war," he said, "then we will show them humanity's true strength, and Rax will lead the way." For the first time since the invasion began, the humans felt something powerful. Hope. But far above Earth, in the alien flagship, the enemy commander received the report of the lost patrol. He frowned. "A human creature?" he repeated. "Small, black and white? That is the thing that defeated my soldiers?" His officers nodded nervously. The commander laughed. "Very well. If humans want to resist, we will crush them harder. Let this small creature come. It will change nothing." He did not know that this small creature was about to change everything. The news of the fallen alien patrol spread quickly through the human base. Soldiers whispered to each other, their voices filled with a mix of shock and excitement. They had seen alien ships, alien weapons, and alien power. Until now, everything about the aliens looked impossible to defeat. But today, something on their side had finally struck back. Rax walked calmly through the hallway, his armored claws tapping softly on the metal floor. His movements were steady and confident. He did not look tired from the fight. He looked ready for more. Commander Ellis watched him from a distance. "Doctor," he said to Dr. Lane, "what exactly did you build?" Dr. Lane folded her arms, her voice soft but proud. "I didn't build him. I only guided him. Rax was always strong, always fearless. He only needed a chance to show it." Rax stopped in front of the soldiers gathered near the exit. He turned his head toward them as if studying each face. Some soldiers stepped back, unsure if they should be scared or inspired. But one young soldier smiled nervously and saluted him. "If this little guy can fight," he whispered, "then so can we." Outside the base, the alien forces continued to move across the mountains. Their machines scanned the area, searching for human survivors. They believed that the destruction of one patrol meant nothing. But the air around the base felt different now. The humans inside were no longer hiding. They were waiting. Rax pushed the large metal door open and stepped out into the cold air. Snow dusted the ground. The wind carried the smell of metal, fuel, and danger. His sharp senses detected more alien soldiers approaching from the east. He could hear their heavy boots striking the rocks, their weapons humming with energy. Ellis spoke through the communicator. "Rax, scouts show a large alien team moving toward you. Don't engage alone. Fall back so we can support you." But Rax did not fall back. He moved forward with slow, controlled steps. His body lowered, muscles ready. His mind was sharp. He understood that running was never an option. From a ridge above, alien soldiers spotted him. They burst into laughter. Their commander pointed at Rax like he was nothing more than a small animal. "Capture that creature," he ordered. "It might be amusing to keep as a toy." Their mistake was underestimating him again. The aliens jumped down from the ridge, surrounding Rax in a wide circle. Their glowing weapons pointed at him. One alien came closer, grinning through his metallic helmet. "Do you understand fear, little one?" he mocked. Rax stared up at him without blinking. The alien hit the ground 1 second later. The humans watching from the base monitors couldn't believe what they were seeing. Rax moved so fast that he almost disappeared. His claws shredded armor, his teeth crushed metal. His small body darted between the large aliens like a bolt of lightning. Every strike was clean, sharp, and deadly. The aliens fired their weapons wildly, but the shots missed. Every time they thought they cornered him, he was already behind them. The sounds of battle echoed across the mountains. Ellis grabbed his rifle. "We're going out there! Rax can't hold the entire alien force alone!" His team rushed outside, forming defensive lines on the hillside. They expected to see Rax injured or overwhelmed. Instead, they saw him standing on a pile of alien bodies, perfectly still, watching the horizon. The wind carried silence for a moment. Then Ellis whispered, "What have we unleashed?" The victory encouraged the soldiers. They began preparing weapons, reviewing maps, and discussing strategies. They realized that if Rax could break alien armor, then maybe humans stood a chance. Maybe their technology wasn't useless after all. They studied Rax's attacks closely, analyzing how he struck weak points and moved unpredictably. Meanwhile, the alien flagship grew restless. Inside the command chamber, the alien leader leaned forward in his chair. His 4 golden eyes narrowed. "Show me the creature," he said. A hologram projected Rax's image, small, black and white, eyes full of fire. The commander hissed in frustration. This animal stops my soldiers? Impossible!" An officer trembled and said, "Commander, our scans confirm heavy losses in the mountain region. Something is killing our troops very quickly." The commander pounded his staff on the ground. "Very well. If this creature wants war, then we will give him war. Prepare the hunters." Back on Earth, Ellis spoke with Dr. Lane as she adjusted Rax's armor. "Do you think the aliens will attack harder now?" she asked. "Absolutely," Ellis replied. "They won't accept embarrassment. They will send stronger forces next time." Rax listened quietly. Even though he didn't speak like humans, he understood their fear. He could smell it, feel it, hear it in their hearts. But he also sensed their hope. Humans were not ready to give up, and neither was he. Night fell on the mountains. The base lights glowed dimly, casting long shadows across the snowy ground. Most soldiers tried to rest, but sleep did not come easily. The threat of the alien empire hung above them. Rax sat on a rock outside the base, staring at the stars. His instincts told him that danger was coming, bigger, stronger, and faster than before. But he didn't fear it. Fear was something he never learned. Deep in space, alien dropships filled with elite warriors flew toward Earth. These were hunters trained to chase down the most dangerous creatures across galaxies. Their armor was heavier, their weapons stronger, and their senses sharper. They were proud and cruel, known for never failing a mission. Their leader growled as he watched Earth approaching on the screens. "We hunt tonight, and we bring back the creature's head." As the ships entered the atmosphere, Rax lifted his head and watched the sky. The soldiers inside the base looked up too as fiery streaks crossed the darkness. Ellis grabbed his radio and shouted, "All teams, prepare for contact! This is not a normal patrol! They're sending something bigger!" The ground shook as alien hunters landed. Their mechanical footsteps thumped through the valley. They moved with purpose, scanning for heat signatures. When one of them detected Rax's location, it let out a loud roar. Rax stood up slowly. The humans behind him gripped their weapons tightly. The alien hunters advanced in formation, and the night breathed in silence before the storm. The night grew colder as the alien hunters marched through the valley, their heavy armor clanking in the darkness. These were not the laughing soldiers from before. They moved with silence, discipline, and deadly confidence. Each one was taller than a human and built like a living weapon. Their eyes glowed red as they scanned the mountainside, searching for the creature that had defeated their brothers. Inside the base, soldiers watched their monitors with wide eyes. The readings showed stronger energy signatures than anything they had seen earlier. Commander Ellis tightened his grip on his rifle. These are elite hunters. They're not here to scare us. They're here to end us. Rax stood ahead of the humans, his silhouette small but powerful against the moonlit snow. His claws pressed into the ground, feeling the vibrations of the approaching enemy. His breathing slowed, becoming calm and deep. He was ready. The first hunter stepped into the open clearing. It was huge, armored with sharp metal spikes, holding a heavy power staff that hummed with electricity. It spotted Rax and pointed the weapon at him. "Target located," it growled in a deep mechanical voice. "Begin the capture." Two more hunters appeared on the cliffs above. A fourth landed behind Rax with a crash that shook the ground. In seconds, he was completely surrounded. The humans watching felt a wave of fear. Even Ellis whispered, "Rax, fall back. You can't take them all." But Rax didn't move. The main hunter approached him slowly, amused. "Small creature, you killed untrained soldiers, but we are hunters. We are born for war. Surrender, and your death will be quick." Rax stared at him without fear, without emotion. The hunter raised its weapon to strike. Snow exploded upward as Rax leaped first. He moved so quickly that the hunters barely registered the attack. His claws slashed across the nearest hunter's arm, tearing through the thick armor. Sparks flew. The hunter roared in shock, stumbling back, but this time the aliens reacted instantly. The second hunter fired an energy bolt that hit the ground near Rax, sending a burst of heat across the valley. Rax rolled away, unharmed but cautious. These enemies were stronger, faster, and more coordinated. The humans took positions along the ridge. They fired their rifles, but the hunter's armor deflected most of the shots. Still, the distraction gave Rax an opening. He darted behind a hunter's leg and ripped out the joint panel. The alien dropped to one knee, stunned. The hunters roared in anger. They began attacking with brutal force, their weapons crackling with energy. A giant hunter swung its staff down, aiming to crush Rax. The impact shattered the rocks where he had stood only a moment before. Ellis shouted orders. "Focus fire on their joints! Slow them down for Rax!" The soldiers followed his command. Their bullets struck weak spots, making some hunters stagger. Rax used every opening, climbing and sliding across the armored bodies with fierce speed. He tore through wires, pierced armor gaps, and broke energy modules. Yet even with his power, the hunters were overwhelming. One of the hunters managed to grab Rax mid-jump. Its metal fingers closed around him like a cage. The creature lifted him into the air. "Caught!" it said, tightening its grip. The soldiers gasped, but the hunter had made a mistake. Rax twisted his body, bit into the alien's armored wrist, and used all his strength to break the metal. The hunter screamed in pain. Rax dropped to the ground and launched upward, smashing his claws into the alien's neck joint. The towering hunter collapsed. Another hunter charged toward the base entrance, forcing humans to retreat. Ellis and his team fired at its helmet, cracking the visor. "Keep shooting!" Ellis yelled. Meanwhile, Rax fought two hunters at once. He dodged twin staff strikes, each blow strong enough to crush a human. But the hunters were adapting. They moved faster now, predicting his jumps. One hit landed. A powerful backhand strike slammed into Rax, sending him rolling across the snow. His armored suit cracked along the shoulder. The soldiers shouted his name as he stood up slowly, shaking away the impact. The hunters advanced, their red eyes glowing brighter. For a moment, the battlefield fell silent. Then something changed. Rax lowered his body again, but this time his stance was different. His eyes narrowed with a new kind of intensity. His muscles tensed. His breathing sharpened. He wasn't just fighting now, he was entering his true instinct. Dr. Lane whispered from behind the monitors, "No, he's going into the rage state." Ellis looked at her. What does that mean? It means he won't stop. Not until every threat is gone. Rax launched himself forward with unbelievable speed. The snow behind him blasted into the air. He tore into the nearest hunter's chest, ripping out its power core in a flash of light. The hunter fell instantly. Before the others could react, Rax sprinted across the field, leaving claw marks glowing on the metal armor he passed. He leaped onto the largest hunter and shredded its helmet apart. The alien screamed before falling silent. The final remaining hunter saw the destruction and tried to retreat. But Rax chased it like a shadow, closing the distance in seconds. He slammed into its back, dragged it down, and silenced it. The battlefield went still. Humans stared in disbelief. Snowflakes drifted down softly. Rax stood alone among the fallen hunters, his armor scratched, his breath heavy, but his eyes still sharp and alert. Ellis stepped forward cautiously. "Rax, it's over." But Rax did not relax. He looked toward the sky. The soldiers followed his gaze. Lights appeared, hundreds of them. Alien ships, much larger than before. Dr. Lane's voice cracked. "They're sending a full battalion, maybe more." Ellis clenched his fists. "They think we're weak. They think this planet belongs to them. Let's prove them wrong." Rax remained silent, watching the descending ships. His instincts told him this next wave was far more dangerous. The war had only begun. The sky above the mountains turned bright with burning streaks of light as the next wave of alien ships entered the atmosphere. Their engines shook the air, their shadows spread across the valley, and the ground trembled under the weight of their arrival. This time, the aliens were not sending hunters. They were sending an army. Commander Ellis watched the massive ships descend with a heavy expression. "This is a full-scale assault," he said. "They don't want to capture Earth anymore. They want to erase us." Soldiers prepared their weapons, checked their armor, and took positions. Some whispered prayers. Others stared in silence at the endless fleet in the sky. The fear was real, but something inside them felt different now. They had seen Rax fight. They had seen the impossible happen, fear mixed with a strange kind of courage. Rax stood at the front of the base, his claws resting lightly on the cold ground. His armor was damaged, but his posture remained firm. He could sense the incoming army, not just their footsteps, but their confidence, their power, their hatred. Inside the alien flagship, the Supreme Commander slammed his hand onto the control panel. "No more mistakes," he growled. "Deploy shock troopers, heavy destroyers, and battle drones. Wipe out everything." The army responded with a unified roar through the ship's speakers. Back on the ground, the first wave of alien dropships landed in the valley. Massive doors opened, and towering shock troopers marched out. Their armor was thick, glowing with red energy lines. They carried heavy cannons that could destroy a tank in one shot. Behind them came the drones, floating machines with multiple laser eyes and spinning blades. They scanned the area, locking onto human heat signatures. The human base filled with tension as the machines approached. Ellis raised his radio. "Everyone hold positions, wait for my signal." A soldier beside him looked at Rax. "Sir, do we send him now?" Ellis shook his head. "Not yet. Let the aliens get closer. We strike when it counts." The shock troopers reached the center of the valley. Their leader stepped forward and activated a loudspeaker. His voice echoed across the mountains. "Humans," he announced, "your resistance ends today. Surrender now or be eliminated. Your small creature will not save you." The humans didn't move. Rax didn't blink. The alien leader pointed toward the base. "Fire!" A blast of red energy shot toward the entrance. The explosion shook the mountain and sent debris flying. Humans ducked behind cover. Ellis shouted, "Return fire!" The soldiers unleashed a storm of bullets and rockets. Explosions lit up the valley, but the shock troopers barely slowed down. Their armor absorbed most of the damage. The drones moved faster, flanking the humans from above. Beams of energy sliced through rock and snow. Dr. Lane watched the chaos unfold. "If we don't send Rax now," she said urgently, "we won't last." Ellis nodded. "Rax, go!" Rax needed no more command. He leaped forward like a streak of lightning, covering the distance between him and the aliens in seconds. The shock troopers aimed their cannons at him, firing multiple shots, but Rax dodged them with impossible speed. He crashed into the nearest trooper, cutting through its armor and ripping out the glowing core inside. The giant soldier collapsed with a thud. The aliens froze for a moment, shocked. Rax didn't. He jumped onto a drone, crushed its mechanical eye, and used its falling body as a platform to launch himself toward another trooper. His claws tore across metal plates, sending sparks flying. The humans saw their chance. Ellis shouted, "Forward! Use explosives! Aim for their cores!" The soldiers moved up, throwing grenades and firing heavy rounds. Explosions erupted across the valley. Some shock troopers fell, their armor cracking under the combined human attack. But the aliens kept advancing. Their numbers were overwhelming. One massive destroyer, twice the size of the shock troopers, walked into the field. Its arms were giant cannons, each glowing with deadly blue light. It aimed at Rax. The beam fired. Rax jumped, but the shockwave hit him mid-air. He crashed onto the ground, rolling across the snow. The humans gasped. Dr. Lane covered her mouth. "Rax!" The destroyer walked toward him, metal feet shaking the ground. It raised its cannon for a final shot. Rax slowly stood up. His armor was cracked, smoke rising from the impact. His legs shook for a moment, but then his eyes became sharper, stronger, filled with a burning fire. He charged. The destroyer fired again, but Rax zigzagged, cutting through piles of snow to avoid the blast. He leaped onto the machine's arm, slashing at its joints, but the metal was too thick. The destroyer swung its arm, throwing him off. Rax hit the ground again, but he rose instantly. He roared, a deep, powerful sound that vibrated through the valley. For the first time, the destroyer hesitated. Rax sprinted toward it, jumped onto its chest, and stabbed his claws into the glowing reactor plate. Sparks exploded everywhere. The destroyer tried to shake him off, but Rax held on. With one final strike, he tore the reactor out. The destroyer collapsed, shaking the entire mountain. The humans erupted into cheers. Hope surged through the base again, but the victory was short-lived. Ellis looked up, and his face lost all color. Oh, no. More ships were entering the atmosphere, 10 times more than before. Huge carriers filled the sky as far as the eye could see. Dr. Lane whispered, This is their full army." Ellis stared at the horizon. "They're not here to fight. They're here to crush Earth completely." Rax stood on top of the fallen destroyer, staring at the sky. The reflection of the alien armada glowed in his eyes. He wasn't scared. He wasn't tired. He was ready. The war was turning into something much bigger than anyone expected. And humanity's smallest warrior had become the galaxy's greatest threat. The sky was now completely filled with alien warships. They formed dark layers across the heavens, blocking out the stars and moon. Their engines rumbled like thunder, echoing through the mountains and shaking the ground. Every human soldier froze as they watched the endless armada descend. Fear spread through the base like cold wind. Commander Ellis stood still, staring upward. This is not just an invasion force. This is extermination." His voice trembled, something unusual for him. Dr. Lane stepped beside him, holding a tablet showing thousands of new heat signatures. "They're deploying an entire planetary army. If they land all of this, Earth will not survive." The soldiers behind them looked at each other in silence. Some clutched their weapons tighter. Others whispered about their families. No one knew if they would see another sunrise. But Rax did not look at the soldiers. He looked at the sky with sharp, fearless eyes. In his mind, the number of enemies did not matter. Only one thing mattered: protecting the humans who had trusted him. The alien warships opened their bay doors. Beams of red light fell to the ground, creating massive energy zones. From these zones stepped thousands of alien infantry, armored walkers, flying drones, and monstrous machines that looked built to crush mountains. The Supreme Alien Commander spoke through giant speakers that echoed across Earth. Humans, your fight ends here. Surrender now or be destroyed. Your small creature has been a minor inconvenience, but we will crush it along with your planet. Rax tilted his head slightly, as if annoyed by the voice. Ellis whispered, "They called him small again." The soldiers around him almost smiled despite their fear. The alien army advanced. The ground shook under their footsteps. The sky buzzed with drones. Glowing eyes, metallic fangs, and powered armor filled the valley. They were coming in numbers too large to count. Ellis gave orders quickly. "All teams, prepare heavy weapons. Load EMPs. Bring out everything we have left." The soldiers ran to their stations, pushing rockets, carrying railguns, and powering shields. This was their last stand. Rax walked forward, stopping at the edge of a cliff overlooking the valley. Snow blew around him as he stood tall. His small frame contrasted with the gigantic army approaching. But he did not step back. Dr. Lane approached him with a small device. "Rax, I upgraded your armor's core. It may help you withstand more hits, but it's risky. The power could overload." Rax blinked slowly, understanding the danger but not caring. Ellis stood beside them. "Rax, you've already done more than anyone dreamed, but this..." He looked at the valley full of alien forces. "This is a war we may not win." Rax placed his claw gently on Ellis's boot, his way of saying he was staying. The alien horns sounded, deep and terrifying. The army rushed forward. The battle began with a roar. Human rockets flew into the air, exploding among alien formations. Drones exploded in sparks. Walkers staggered as railgun rounds slammed into them. The humans fought fiercely, using every weapon they had. Rax leaped down the cliff with incredible speed. He hit the ground running, heading straight into the thickest part of the alien army. The aliens reacted instantly. Hundreds aimed their weapons at him. Bolts of energy shot across the battlefield. Explosions followed him as he zigzagged through the terrain at lightning speed. The first alien soldier raised a blade-like arm to strike. Rax ripped through its armor, tearing it apart. He jumped onto a nearby walker, climbed up its metal leg, and stabbed into its top controls. The walker collapsed sideways, but more came. Huge brutes with heavy cannons surrounded him. They fired repeatedly, shaking the snow around him. Rax dodged most shots, but one cannon blast grazed his side, burning his armor. He rolled, stood up again, and charged straight toward the brute that fired. He climbed the towering alien, tore off a chunk of armor, and dug into its power lines until the machine shut down. But the aliens were learning. They focused their fire on him. Multiple drones swarmed, attacking from above. Rax jumped, grabbed one drone, and used it as a shield as he crashed into others. Sparks flashed everywhere. Human soldiers watched with awe as Rax fought through enemy lines like a living storm. But even with his strength, the enemy was too many. Ellis realized this. He can't hold all that alone. He raised his rifle and shouted, "All teams, move forward, support Rax!" The soldiers charged into the valley. Explosions lit the snow. Humans and aliens clashed in chaotic waves. The battle became brutal, confusing, loud, and desperate. Drones sliced through the air. Alien cannons blasted holes in the ground. Human rockets left trails of fire behind them. Rax kept pushing forward, destroying anything in his path. His armor was damaged, parts burned, but his determination only grew. Then something unexpected happened. A massive tremor shook the valley. The snow cracked. The ground vibrated. Every alien soldier paused. A giant alien war machine stepped down from one of the largest ships. It was taller than a building, with 4 massive legs and a glowing core in its chest. Cannons covered its body. Its head turned slowly, scanning for racks. Ellis's voice broke. "That's a Titan-class annihilator. We don't have weapons strong enough to destroy that," Dr. Lane whispered. "Except maybe racks." The Titan aimed a giant blue beam at the battlefield. The humans started to run, but they were too slow. The Titan fired. The beam tore across the valley, destroying everything in its path. Snow turned to steam, rocks melted. Human soldiers hit the ground, covering their faces, but Rax ran straight toward the beam. Dr. Lane screamed, "No! Rax!" He wasn't running away. He was running into the attack. He pushed his body as hard as he could, claws gripping the ground. His armor glowed from the heat. The beam washed over him, burning the surface of his suit, but he kept going. Tears of molten metal dripped from him as he sprinted through the fire. The Titan tried to adjust aim, but Rax reached its leg and climbed upward with desperate force. The humans watched with wide eyes, unable to believe what they were seeing. Rax reached the Titan's chest and dug into the glowing core plate. Sparks exploded around him. The Titan shook violently, trying to dislodge him. Ellis shouted, "Come on, Rax! You can do it!" Rax pulled harder. The plate cracked. Then it shattered. The Titan let out a deep metallic roar as its core exploded in a massive blast of blue light. The shockwave threw Rax off the machine, and everything went silent. Smoke filled the valley. The giant Titan collapsed, shaking the entire mountain. Humans stared into the cloud, waiting to see if Rax moved. But nothing moved at all. Not yet. The battlefield was covered in smoke and burning metal. Pieces of the Titan machine lay scattered across the valley like broken mountains. Human soldiers slowly stood up after the explosion, coughing and wiping dust from their eyes. Their ears rang from the blast, and their hearts pounded with fear and hope. Commander Ellis stared at the place where Rax had fallen. His chest felt tight. "Rax, please get up," he whispered. Dr. Lane ran forward despite the danger, tears already filling her eyes. "He can't be gone," she kept saying. "He can't be." The smoke slowly drifted away. Bodies of alien soldiers, broken drones, and crushed walkers lay everywhere. The Titan's huge frame was still glowing with dying energy, but Rax's small body was nowhere in sight. Humans searched desperately. They scanned the snow, checked behind debris, and shouted Rax's name again and again. Every passing second made the fear heavier. Then a small sound broke the silence, a soft scratching on metal. Dr. Lane froze. "Wait! I heard something." Everyone held their breath. Another sound. A low growl. A familiar one. The smoke parted, and Rax stood there. His armor was almost completely destroyed. One shoulder plate was missing, parts of his helmet were cracked, and his claws were covered in burnt metal. He was limping slightly, breathing hard, but his eyes were bright, sharp, and alive. The humans burst into cheers. Some cried, some shouted his name, and some dropped to their knees in relief. Dr. Lane ran to him and hugged him carefully, tears streaming down her face. "You're alive," she whispered, her voice shaking. "You did it. You really did it." Rax blinked slowly and nudged her arm gently. Even injured, he showed no sign of fear. Commander Ellis placed a hand on Rax's head. "You saved us. You saved Earth." But the battle was not over yet. Above the valley, the alien flagship opened its lower gates. A bright red light spilled across the sky. The Supreme Alien Commander stepped forward on a floating platform, looking down with burning rage. His voice echoed across the battlefield. "You think one creature and a few humans can stop the might of the galaxy? I will destroy your planet myself." He pointed his staff at Earth's surface. A giant cannon began forming beneath the ship, glowing brighter and brighter. This weapon was designed to wipe out entire continents. Ellis shouted, "Everyone take cover! They're going to fire!" But Rax did not take cover. He stared at the ship, ears raised, claws tight. Even though he was weak and wounded, something inside him burned stronger than pain. Dr. Lane grabbed his arm. "Rax, no! You can't fight anymore. Please, stay with us." Rax looked at her and blinked once, slowly, as if thanking her. Then he stepped away. He walked forward through the broken battlefield. Every soldier watched silently, not daring to stop him. Even injured, Rax carried the spirit of every human behind him. The alien commander laughed. "You dare challenge me? You are nothing." He raised his staff to fire the final blast. But Rax suddenly moved. Not fast like before. Not wild like his rage state. He moved with purpose. He leaped onto a fallen alien cannon, climbed the broken Titan's frame, and reached the highest point he could find. He planted his feet firmly on the metal surface, lifted his head toward the flagship, and roared. It was not an animal roar. It was a declaration, a warning, a promise. The humans stood behind him, raising their weapons even though they knew they couldn't match the alien ship's power. But they stood anyway, because Rax stood. The alien commander fired the cannon. A beam of destructive red energy shot toward the valley. But suddenly, Earth's defense satellites, previously knocked offline, flickered back to life. The alien blast hit the satellite's defensive shields first. The shields cracked, sparked, and began to collapse, but they slowed the beam just enough. Ellis shouted, "Fire everything we have! Now!" Every human weapon in the valley fired upward. Rockets, EMPs, railgun rounds, missiles, anything they could launch. The air exploded with trails of fire and smoke. The alien beam weakened under the counterattack. The flagship shook as some missiles hit its underside. Panels broke off. Lights flickered. Rax sprinted forward and leaped from the Titan wreckage. He soared higher than any previous jump, landing on a drone still barely functioning. The impact forced the drone upward. Rax held onto it as it rose toward the flagship. The alien commander screamed, "Stop that creature!" Energy blasts shot at Rax, but he dodged by shifting his weight on the drone. It rose higher, smoking and shaking until it reached the flagship's hull. Rax jumped. He dug into the metal surface with his claws. Sparks flew. The commander watched in disbelief as the tiny creature climbed the enormous ship like it was nothing. Rax reached the main cannon and ripped out exposed wires, tearing apart energy tubes. The weapon flickered, struggled, and then powered down. The alien commander roared in panic. "No! Get off my ship!" He swung his staff, trying to hit Rax. But Rax moved faster, climbing onto the central core of the ship. He dug deep, slicing through the glowing lines that powered the entire flagship. The ship began to shake violently. Warning lights flashed everywhere. Rax made one final strike. The flagship's core exploded in a storm of fire and light. The explosion threw Rax far into the air. The humans watched as the burning ship fell apart in the sky, crashing into nearby mountains with a giant shockwave. They feared Rax had been lost. But then they saw something fall from the sky, a small shape, spinning, tumbling, falling fast. Dr. Lane gasped. "Rax!" Soldiers rushed forward, spreading across the valley. Rax hit the snow with a soft thud, sliding a few feet before stopping. His armor was nearly destroyed. His breathing was weak but steady. Dr. Lane fell to her knees beside him. "You did it," she whispered through tears. "You saved humanity." Ellis spoke softly. "The aliens, they're retreating. Earth is safe." Rax opened one eye slightly, looked at them both, and relaxed. For the first time since the invasion began, the valley became silent, peaceful, almost calm. The humans gathered around their smallest hero, the creature the galaxy had mocked. The creature they thought was nothing had become Earth's greatest defender. Rax closed his eyes, not in defeat, but in rest, because the war was finally over, and humanity had won.